Can you move this up? Hey everyone, just say hi in the comment section. I need to know if you're there or not, and who all are there, by the way. Hey Razman. Hi everyone, can you hear me? Hi Cabbage Lord. Hi Carol. Is everybody able to hear me? Okay. All right. Okay, we're gonna wait for some more time and then we start with a Q&A. So if anybody has any question and answer, anything that they want to know, please write to me. Okay, comment. Hi Lanu. Hi Razman. Again. Okay, whoever is there, bring your guitar and tune it to standard tuning. Right, that's the first thing. So get a pick, get a guitar, and tune it to standard tuning. Everybody knows standard tuning, right? It's E-A-D-G-B-E. Yeah. Hello. Okay, any questions, just put it out here. Hey, anybody has a question, or should I just start shooting out the questions that we have got on Instagram and Facebook? And I'm not showcasing that right now. So okay, so let's start with the first question that I often get. Post it here. Okay, so yeah, this question is pretty common that I always get asked. Which guitar should we buy, acoustic or electric? And is there any model number? So let me start by saying that if you have never played a guitar or you don't have a guitar, then you should invest definitely in an acoustic guitar because first is it's affordable. If you go for an electric guitar, then you will have to invest in amplifier, cables. There are 2, 3 more accessories that you will have to invest in. But if you have a budget and if you want to go for electric, please go. There is nothing wrong with it. I always prefer because you're starting up, and if you want to show off to your friends, if you want to take the guitar somewhere, you definitely need an acoustic. It's more portable, right? So if you're starting, hands down, go for an acoustic guitar. Model, I'm a big fan of Yamaha, so and a Fender. I have a Fender. I play Fender all the time. So if you're going for Fender, just go for a 60 CE, and if you're going for Yamaha, get F310. Now these might be a little more expensive than some of the guitars that's available in the market right now, but I always say you're going to invest it for a very long time. 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees difference is not going to hurt your back. Yeah, but you would rather have a guitar which you can carry, play, and you can love the sound of it for a very long time. Yeah, so starting up, go for an acoustic guitar, and Yamaha F310 and Fender CD60 CE is something that you can go for straight away. What's the main difference between acoustic, semi-acoustic, electric guitar? Okay, so acoustic guitar. suggestions on acoustic longer durability. I mean, all the strings are pretty good. The branding that I would suggest to you guys is either you go for Dario, or the one that I use is called Slinky. Ernie Ball Slinkies. Don't go for Slinkies, go for Ernie Ball strings, acoustic guitar, phosphor bronze coating. All right, these are the strings that you need to get on the gauges. It's a little bit tough to play on 11 plus. Acoustic guitar sounds really good if you have gauges 11 onwards. So try to get those things. And taking care of the strings is important. Once you put down a guitar from playing, just wipe it off. Your sweat is going to rust the strings out. So yeah, that's for your longevity of your strings. The main difference between acoustic, semi-acoustic, and electric guitar. Acoustic guitar and semi-acoustics are very close. So acoustic guitar means it can to an amplifier. That means it cannot be connected to a speaker. So for example, this guitar that I'm using, it's a Martin, and this is an acoustic guitar. It has a sound of its own, right? So if you mic it up, it's fine. But semi-electric guitar are the guitars which are acoustic, so which has a sound of its own. Plus, it can be connected to an amplifier or a speaker, right? So if you have a budget, you always go for a semi-acoustic guitar because you have an option to get it connected to a speaker, so it's good. Electric guitar doesn't have a sound of its own at all. So if you play like this, you won't be able to hear it. So you have to get it connected to the speakers. Of course, there are advantages of electric guitar. Some of the sounds that you cannot produce via acoustic guitar can be produced on electric guitar. It can be connected to a pedal board, and the sound and the tone can be tweaked. Yeah, these are some of the differences. But as I always said, if you have the budget, go for semi-acoustic guitar, but start with an acoustic guitar itself. Okay, how can I play fast on the guitar? So by the way, all these questions are coming from Facebook and Instagram. So if anybody has any questions ever, just post it on Instagram, and weekly ones we are going to just put it out there, clarify all these questions. How can I play fast on guitar? Well, it depends. What are you trying to play? Are you trying to play chords fast? Are you trying to play some kind of solos fast? But the answer to all these questions are pretty cliche. You have to practice, okay, and practice in the correct way. So it doesn't matter what you're trying to achieve. You practice from a very slow tempo. You work out your technique in the best possible, and the speed will automatically come to you. But if your technique is flawed, you will never be able to achieve any speed. That's the simplest answer that I can give you. If I can get any questions in detail, then I can, give an answer in detail. Is it better to stand or play guitar or sit? What do you recommend? So this depends on if you're a performer. I would suggest that you stand and practice. But if you're just doing as, or that you have to sometime perform standing up, maybe a day or two in advance, you can start practicing only standing up, because the way you stand and the way you sit, it's a completely different ergonomics to play the guitar. But there is no rule as such, and one of the things that you can always keep it as a thumb that when you're sitting down, this posture is really, really comfortable, right? So try to keep the strap on you at this position so that when you get up, this guitar doesn't move a lot. Okay. because you cannot have the guitar at this position while you're sitting up, and if you try to play the same thing getting up, and if your guitar is so low, it would be very hard for you to play. Yeah, because the entire uh, the style, the posture, everything is going to change. So keep that in mind. A lot of people, when they sit down, they keep the guitar in a way that when they stand up, it's exactly the same way, and that is this way. So they don't keep it on the right leg; they keep it on the left leg. So this is more of a neutral posture when you get up and when you sit down. So yeah, I hope I've answered that your question, Cabbage Lord. To add to that, I don't recommend anything. It's completely up to you. I mean, whatever the occasion is, if you're just sitting down and playing some stuff with your friends, be as comfortable as you want. But if you know that you're going to stand up and play in the near future for a performance or for a social gathering, then you might as well practice in the correct manner so that it's not a big get in front of the crowd and when you stand up and play. Um, how long will it to play the guitar? Okay. Yeah, this is one of the most common question asked.
So question before that.
Yeah, I've already
My
answered.
fingers are not.
Where is it?
Just before this. My fingers are not that strong.
No, before that, Charlotte John has asked. Okay, how long will it take to play guitar? It depends what you're trying to play again, right? So if you're trying to play John Petrucci solo or play like Pink Floyd, it will take time because those are the techniques that you need to master, and that will only come once you hear a lot of music and practice a lot. So to break down this question very easily, for you to play your first 100 songs, first 1,000 songs based on the chords, that you can accomplish in just 12 weeks. And I've made a really defined course for that. And if you follow that, you're going to get through that very easily. Yeah, so 12 weeks to get your first 100,000 songs done. So this course basically tells you how to practice, because that's one of the most important, because that is the most important part of learning. I can teach you a concept in maybe 10 minutes, but if you can't practice it right, you will not get through it. So yeah, to simply put, 12 weeks to play first 102,000 songs, but in 1 year in 8 to 1 year you will be in a condition, or you will learn enough to be able to play any song under the sun, right? But when I say any song under the sun, I don't mean you will be able to play like John Petrucci, which is crazy level of techniques. So what I mean by saying is you can play a little bit of finger. You can play like that. You can play, chord shifts like. So practically anything that you want to play, most probably you'll be able to play in just a matter of 8 to 12 months. The only defining rule is you practice at least 20 to 30 minutes a day. Listen to a lot of songs, you will get through that. My fingers are not that strong and flexible. How can I improve it? Work on your warm-up techniques. Anything to do with flexibility and fingers being strong, don't focus on only learning songs. Work on your warm-up. So when I say warm-up, excuse me, I'll just take my pick. So when I say warm-up, you can have a very simple exercise. Often flexibility is between your second, third finger, third and the fourth finger. That's the biggest issue. So you take any fret. I'm going to start from the fifth fret, and I will just use first two fingers, then second and third finger, and third and fourth finger. Yeah, and I just need to play this from the sixth string to the first string. I will just go like this. Yeah, and while coming back, you will just go from second finger to first to 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, and that's it. But you need to follow the golden rules of fretting. That's one thing that you need to be absolutely sure. So you cannot place your fingers anywhere in the fret. You need to place it by the end of the fret. Yeah, you cannot place it here. Don't press it like this. You have to press it right at the end of the. So it's all about the technique. So if you follow the golden four rules of fretting, then you're executing that technique right. Okay, so this is for the first and second finger. Then you can go for second and the third finger. That is second, third, same thing with your second and third finger while coming back. The last one, which is the toughest, it's going to be 3, 4. Goes like this. Yeah, start doing that. So once you get to that, then you can start alternating it. For example, you can start with 1 and 3. 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. Okay, then I get 1, 4. And the last one, which is 2 and 4. Sorry, I messed up. So, while doing all these things, make sure that your fretting sound is good, right? So, be honest to yourself. If you play something like, don't move forward, get that thing right, okay? Press it enough. Only when you press it enough, you're going to develop a strong finger. And of course, stretch it to the end of the fret. Don't press it here, press it by the end of the fret. And once you do that, you will have no problem with flexibility. Now, the third reason that you might be facing this is because you're not able to press this. You feel that your fingers are not strong enough because your guitar might have got a bend. So your strings are very far off from your fret. And that can create a lot of tension between the string and the fret. So it's very hard to press. For that, you need to go to a luthier and get your guitar fixed, if that's the reason. But yeah, use the simple exercises. Your flexibility and your finger strength is going to get increased for sure. Okay, what is the alternate tuning apart from standard tuning? Okay, this session is for beginners. So alternate tunings are a different universe altogether, which has got its own set of chords. But I'll just touch up on that topic a little bit. Give you an example. So standard tuning is when you have strings tuned to E, A, D, G, B, E, starting from the sixth string to the first string. You can make that like half step down, 1 step down, or 2 steps down. So what that basically means is you're lowering the entire tuning of the guitar. So instead of first string tuned at E, if you have a 2-step down guitar, that will mean from E to D sharp, then D sharp to D. So your sixth string is going to be tuned at D. So instead of A on the fifth string, it's going to be tuned to G. Instead of D on the fourth string, it's going to be tuned to C. Instead of third string to G, it's going to be tuned to F, and the second string will be tuned to A, and the first string again is going to be tuned to D. And that's one of the alternate tuning. If you go deeper and more varied version of tunings, then there is one very famous tuning which is called Dad-Gad, which means the sixth string is D, fifth string is A, fourth string is D again, and then it's G on the third string, A on the second string, and D on the first string. Now, what happens when you have Dad-Gad? If you play open strum, it's a G suspended fourth chord. It sounds beautiful just by strumming like that, but what it entails, you have to learn different set of chords for it. Yeah, so for the beginners, you can definitely check it out. These are some amazing, beautiful guitar tuning. Uh, Listen to a song called Passion Flower if you can. And yeah, that's about standard tuning. Is plucking style difficult? Anything new is difficult. So you got to start very slowly. As I said earlier, also, whatever you find difficulty with, start slow and move your way up. If you do that, everything will be sorted out. So to answer your question, is it difficult? Yeah, for a beginner to attempt a crazy level of uh, finger picking is going to be difficult. But if you start slow and small, eventually it will not be difficult. Is it worth memorizing the notes of each fret? That's a very, very interesting question. I don't know how many students are going to be, can relate to this answer that I'm going to give. To simply put, um, so when I teach beginners, I don't teach each and every note memorizing because guitar is not an instrument like piano where you correlate the notes straight away. You don't need to. So, for example, I'll be blatantly truthful to you. I know A major scale, right? Note by note. But if you ask me to play A sharp, I don't know the scale note by note, but I can still play it. And I can play any scale without even knowing the notes. So what I'm trying to say is, if you know one scale, guitar is a very shaped instrument. So if you know shapes, you can maneuver the entire guitar. I'm not discouraging the fact that if you know the notes on the strings, it's amazing. But for beginners, I think that's it's an extra hassle that they don't need to go through. Yeah, if you need to know the people who need to know the notes of the guitar are classical guitarists or who are playing through the sheet music and who are playing in orchestras. And that's a very, very niche market. And if you're one of those guitarists or planning to be one of them, then of course you should invest your time. It's worth to memorize all the notes on the fretboard, right? But with that, I will say one thing that you need to memorize the notes on the sixth string, the fifth string, and if you know the sixth string, you will know the first string, right? Because these are the notes or the strings where you will base out your power chords and your bar chords and everything. So if somebody tells me, okay, play an A sharp, I'll be like, okay. Play a D, I'll be like, F sharp, D on the fifth string. So I know these, on the tip of a finger, but that's what you require. I hope I've answered your question. How to use guitar strap? What should you consider when selecting one? When you're selecting guitar strap, get something which is broad. If you get something very narrow, it's going to dig into your shoulder and it's pretty painful and uncomfortable. So get something really broad which can take the weight of the guitar equally. Second thing is how to use a guitar strap. See, I've already addressed this question. If you are planning to stand and play, then when you're sitting down and practicing, first of all, keep the guitar on your left leg. Okay, that's the closest position to when you stand up. When you do that, then you put the strap around your body so that the guitar stays exactly the same way when you get up. That's the easiest way that you can go around using a strap. Keep in mind when you use a strap, and when you stand up, your position should not change from sitting down to stand up. So for example, your guitar is at this position right now. It's closer to your chest, right? When you stand and play, the strap, when you put the strap, make sure your guitar doesn't go below this level, like at this. You know, a lot of people like Nirvana, Kurt Cobain, all these people play like that. But yeah, I don't recommend as a beginner. Once you become a little bit more advanced, you can use the strap to your convenience, but not to start with. Very, very good question. How to use guitar pick? So when you play lead, yeah, like anything like so when you play a lead, you will use a pick which is hard enough. So the one that I'm using right now is around 1 mm. So you will always use a pick which is hard enough to play solos. When you're playing the strumming, you should not use a very thick plectrum. So I would suggest to use a plectrum which is 0.5, 0.6 mm, which basically is a little bit more flexible. So when you play, you get that nice strumming sound from the plectrum. So if I play from this, see that? So it's going to be easier when you play faster strumming patterns. If you have a thinner plectrum, it's going to be much more easier for you. To answer the question, if you're playing a lead, a melody, play with a thicker plectrum, which doesn't bend. So when you're playing a strumming pattern, play with a thinner one, which is 0.5 to 0.6. I'll tell you which one also, by the way. If you're using a thick one to play the lead, I personally go always to Jim Dunlop Jazz 3. That's my go-to pick when I'm playing solos. And if you're strumming, then you can get something from Planet Waves, which is 0.5 to 0.6 matte finish, which doesn't slip out. It's kind of like a rubber finish. It doesn't slip out at all with your fingers. So yeah. Are you done with the questions? What are some easy songs for me to start learning? Okay, you are asking in English or Hindi? English songs or Hindi songs? Can you specify that? So, English songs. 1 second, I got a list. Let me just quickly see. So if you're an absolute beginner, I think you can start with Living on a Jet Plane, Radioactive, Knocking on Heaven's Door, Country Roads, Counting Stars. Country Roads has got a little tough chord, so that comes a little bit later. Every Rose Has Its Throne, Everything I Do, Boulevard of Broken Dreams. I think Perfect. Nothing Else Matters. Yeah, these are some of the easy songs that you can start with. I would highly recommend that you don't go after the solo. I mean, you can, but don't get fixated on getting the solo right. Yeah, like for example, Nothing Else Matter. There's a really interesting solo intro part of it, but don't get fixated on that because it might take you some time. And the goal for you is to get the rhythm of the song right. You know, you should be able to change the chords correctly. You should be able to play the chords right. Focus on that rather than playing the solo. So these are some of the interesting and easy songs that you can start with. Uh, you know, yeah. So if you have not, I don't know if you have signed up for my course. If you have not, all these songs has been taught with the perfect technique explanation. And as soon as you learn the techniques, it straight away goes to using it with the songs. So if you want help with learning, go ahead and subscribe to my course at musicpundit.com and you will get the lessons.
Take one last question.
Yeah. Where is it?
Okay. Explain what is a capo as well.
Okay.
For people watching. Let's
Yeah. Okay, how to use a capo? Capo is a very good tool. But as you progress, please stop using capo because I always call it as a cheat tool. Okay, so capo is used for special occasions, especially if you're a beginner. And once you learn some kind of finger picking pattern which cannot go with any other chord sequence that you have learned, then you use a capo. Okay, so simply put, this is the bridge of the guitar. All right. So when you play the chords, so there's a G chord that I'm playing, and it starts on the 3rd fret. So my bass, why am I calling it as it's starting from the 3rd fret? Because this is what I'm considering as 0 or the bridge. So this is the 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret. So that's a G chord. Now what happens if I move the bridge? So imagine capo as the bridge of the guitar, or portable bridge, and I put it right here. So now this is no longer my bridge. This becomes my bridge. So if I have to play a G chord, it will be from the 3rd fret from the capo. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to start right here. Got it? Now I cannot play the same chord from the same position. Right now, if you see logically, we are on the 4th fret. So if I remove the capo and I still play from the 4th fret, it's going to sound horrible. So that's what a capo does. It moves your bridge so that you can move your chord in front. When do we use a capo? If you have a singer, if you have practiced the song on G chord, and if you have a singer who's saying that, oh, I cannot play it, can you increase the pitch, and you don't know any chord as a beginner, then you can just use a capo and shift all the chords. So D would have been here on the 2nd fret, but now we're going to shift to the 3rd fret. E minor would have been on the 2nd fret, but we're going to shift it to the 3rd fret because we changed the bridge. So now your entire chord positions changed, right? One last thing, when you put a capo, put it on the edge of the fret wire. Remember the golden rules of fretting techniques. Yeah, that's basically how you use a capo. Now, some people will ask, is it still a G chord? No, it's not a G chord. It will become one note. It's a +1 from G. So +1 from G is a G sharp. This is a D sharp, and E minor doesn't have a sharp, so it is F minor. So if you have to if you have to say it to somebody else, you're going to say it like, I'm playing a G sharp, D sharp, F minor, back to G sharp. Right? So that's how you use a capo.
secret tips and tricks.
Okay, so I've got something really interesting for you guys today. So when I see a lot of people starting off, you start with the chords C and G, D and E minor. So these are the four chords that a lot of people start with. Even I start with that. Now the problem with these chords are, especially with C and G, it's not an easy chord to play because you're engaging a lot of your fingers. So imagine your guitar has two different pitch. So you got first, second, and third pitch as a high pitch, and then you got these three as a low pitch. A chord is a combination of playing the low pitch and the high pitch. The most important finger when you play a chord is always going to be a high pitch note. So in the case of C, it's going to be this note. So if I play only the higher pitch notes with only playing first fret on the first finger, that's going to be a C chord as well. Yeah, it's not a traditional C which looks like this, which is much harder to play, which is going to take a long time for you guys. So you can start with this C if it's becoming too hard for you. Remember, as a beginner guitar player, you don't need to master the full chord shapes. You can start with only the base of it. So I call these first finger only, the high string notes as anchor notes. So if you got your anchor done, this will automatically start coming at a later stage, right? So you start with that. Once you get this, then you get the chord right. And the only focus for you then is going to be playing a song. Playing a song as in playing the chords for a song. And that is one of the most important part of playing the guitar. A lot of times people miss that singular detail. So they spend so much time getting the C chord right and G chord right that they miss out on perfecting their rhythm, which is the main game of playing any instrument. Right? So my recommendation for you is going to be, when you play C chord, don't worry about these two if it's going to be too tough for you. You start with this. Simple. When you play G chord, the full shape is like this, which, trust me, takes a lot of time for a lot of people. So you play only the thirds. Now use the correct finger. So use the third finger on the third fret, first string, and play that. Right? So let's do it again. C is this. Only one string, simple. Don't play the bass notes though. G, E minor is pretty easy. And we have got no way out of playing a D chord with only one finger because D chord uses all the high pitch. So that's the only chord that you need to worry about. So once you get C done, G, D, right? And E minor. Now if you get E minor, make sure that your E minor is played with the second and third finger. And because E is just one finger away from E minor, so you might as well use the shape which is easier to transition to an E chord. And that's the same shape. If you move one string down, you're going to get an A minor. So just it's more efficient way to play E minor chord, right? So you got all these four chords. Now, if somebody is not able to understand anything that I'm saying, you can check all these things in detail in my lesson on musicpundit.com, right? So I'm just giving you some tricks if you are starting off and you're struggling with C and G. So use the easy chords. So if I play it all together, see, it sounds really good. The main focus is always going to the right hand because the right hand is playing the rhythm. Right? Now, if you get this, if you get these four chords, 4-5 chords, then you can actually play 100 plus songs, no problem at all. Yeah, and once you get very acquainted with the C chord, first finger is one finger C chord or one finger G chord. Once you start playing the full chord, it's going to be much easier because you're playing the anchors already for these chords. Okay, so my tip for you guys is don't get fixated on bigger chords right now when you're starting up. Use simple chords, Focus on rhythm building, focus on the right hand, focus on shifting the chords on time, and that way it's going to be much more enjoyable because you can play a lot of chords. And once you start playing the full chords, once your anchor is done, you can play those chords much more comfortably and much more uh, in an easier way. So that's my tips and tricks for you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I think we are good to go.
You can start this one.
Okay, we're going to take 5 minutes. I want to know how many of you have got a guitar with you right now, first of all.
Ask people to message.
Just message me, everybody who has got a guitar. Okay. Me too. Yes, yes, I am. Okay. So you're gonna start the song, which is Kabira. Now, because this is not a recorded class, I cannot put a lot of narration on the screen. So if you have any doubts in between, just keep on asking me. I will try to address any and each doubt. Okay. So we're gonna start with the first thing, which is. Can you tell me when somebody asks a question?
Sure.
Okay. So we're going to start with the first thing, which is what are the chords? So first thing, let me clarify this. We're going to play the original version, which is going to be a little bit tough for you guys. So we're going to start a beginner version. Okay, the strumming pattern is going to be totally different to what you can play right now. And once I show the entire song, maybe I'll give you the full strumming pattern that is used in the song, and whoever can attempt it, please do. So the first thing first, the chords which are going to be used in the songs. Yeah. Hold on 1 second, guys. Okay. The chords which are going to be used in the songs are G. Now, if you know the full G chord, good. If otherwise, you can just play the third fret on the first string. C. Play only the beginner's version. D. A minor. E minor. Or again G. Or play only this. C. Or play only this. D. A minor. And then E minor.
Can you repeat the chords?
The chord names are G, C, D, A minor, and E minor. Right, so these are the chords which we're going to use. And we're going to start with the pre-chorus part. Okay, pre-chorus part is so it goes like okay, so it's pretty simple. It's only 3 chords. One is so you need to always think about where the chords are being executed. So in this case, it's going to start on Khud Garzi. Okay. So Kaisi Teri Khud Garzi na 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 da 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 na na na. Okay. So these are the chords for this part. Now let's think about the strumming pattern. So the way I like to describe the strumming pattern is not going to be through D D U U and blah blah blah, because if I put it in perspective, it's this. So now all of you can say it's down, 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 right? But if I just write D D D U, it can be sung in any way possible. So original is down, 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 up. But I can also count it as down, 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 up. Or I can count it as down, 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 up. Or I can count it as down, 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 up. See, the problem with DDDU is you can never have the correct rhythm if you don't remember it, right? And that's why I always say you need to learn the note values of music, because if you have that, you will always play the correct rhythm. So for this song, the note values for the strumming pattern is a half note, which is 1, 2, then a quarter note, which is 1, and 2 8 notes, which is 4 and the and is an upstroke. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Got it? So this is strumming pattern. I want you all to play with me the G chord with this strumming pattern. Ready? 1, 2, 3, start. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and down, down, 4 and down, down, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and. Alright, I hope you got your strumming pattern sorted out. The next thing we're going to tackle is using the strumming pattern on the chords that we have learned for the pre-chorus, which is कैसी तेरी कैसी तेरी play with me. Okay, so that's your first part of the pre-chorus. I hope that you got that right. So it's 2 times C, then G and D. 2 times C, G and D. The next part is the second part of the pre-chorus, which is starting with E minor, then goes to C, then E minor, and back to C. So let me show you how it translates to the lyrics. So okay, again. And that's how you play the entire pre-chorus. Let's put the second part of the pre-chorus with the strumming pattern, which is like 1, 2, 3, 4. With easy chords. Okay, so the entire pre-chorus we're going to play together. I hope you know the chords. Can you? I'll just note it down on the comment section. So 2 times G. Oh, sorry. 2 times C, then G and D. And that's repeated 4 times in the song. We're going to do only 2 times right now. And then the second part of the pre-chorus, it's A minor, C, E minor, and C.
Okay.
A minor, C, E minor, and C. All right. So let's quickly play it and then move on to the chorus.
Part of the pre-chorus.
Yeah. Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. कैसी तेरी खुदगर्जी ना ना कैसी तेरी second part. That's your pre-chorus. There's a small change. What I've given you an advanced chord. So instead of C 2 times, then G and T, you can remove the T and you can play G 2 times. So C 2 times, G 2 times, C 2 times, and G 2 times. All right, and everybody who is comfortable with T, you can play that. So it's go like. This is only for people who are comfortable with D chord. Otherwise, you can stick to C 2 times and G 2 times. Right? Okay. So now we move on to the chorus part. So this song only has 2 parts to it mainly. This is Preetham's version, not the original song. In the original song, there is some kind of, there's one, I don't know, some kind of interlude going on. Anyway, so the chorus is pretty simple. It's again G chord. Re Kabira Mancha Re Fakira, the G chord, C. See, I'm using all easy chords and it sounds fantastic. Right? You can use the full chords as Re Kabira Mancha Re Fakira Mancha. Then it goes to E minor. Acha, tujhko pukare teri parch. Goes to D. Right, so these are the 4 chords. So Re Kabira and Manja is same, which is G and C. Then again G and C. Then it goes to A minor. Then it goes to D. Then let's see that part. Re Kabira Manja. And the starting pattern. Re Kabira Manja. तुझको पुकारे तेरी परछाइयां बीते कबीरा मांझा रे फकीरा मांझा कैसे So that's how your chorus is done. All right. So now let's go to the verse, which is the third part. Did I say that I only 2 parts? There's one more part, which is the third part. And that's pretty simple. It's the verse which goes like, it starts with a G chord. It stays on a G chord for the longest time. So it's like, that's a C chord, D chord. Right? So it's 2 times G, then a C, and then back to D. Right? It's like do D chart second time C D So C, G is 4 times, C is 2 times, and then D is 2 times. Okay, remember this is an easier version, so this is an easier version for you. Otherwise, the chord changes twice in that 4 times of G itself. Alright, so again, let's do the verse together. 1, 2, 3, 4. भाई रास्ता देखे Then it goes back to the pre-chorus, which is कैसी तेरी Yeah. So this is your entire song. Three parts to it: pre-chorus, chorus, and verse. Okay. If you get the chords of individual sections, you can join it together and create the entire song. Okay. I hope you have a good time playing the song. And once you learn the song, it would be great if you can send me some videos, share with your friends and family, and tag Music Pandit to it. Okay. Feel free to use the full chords if you can. Otherwise, there's no problem in using this easy chords. I was using it throughout. I find it easy as well. So yeah. Okay. So one last thing is for the people who are a little bit advanced, instead of playing the entire song with, so when they go to Kabira, they can maybe, you know. So I'm not going to teach you how to do it, like in terms of note values or notes. I'm going to just play it, and if you can figure it out, just go and apply it to your strumming. So Re Kabira can go like this. Re Kabira. So you can do that kind of strumming. So it's basically this. Actually, it's pretty easy. So let me just tell you. Instead of playing 1, 2, 3, 4, and I play on 2 also. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And. But that 2 is only on a very soft stroke. It's not a very hard stroke. So it's an easy stroke. So that's how you play Kabira. I hope you enjoyed the session. And if you put comments, and if I get 10 comments about if you need the chord charts for it, I'll provide a chord charts. Right? So I need 10 comments if you want the chord charts for this song. Alright, so I'll wait for 2 minutes, and if there are no questions, I think we're going to sign off. I hope you had a good time. I need 10 people to say that, okay? Then only I'll create one. All right, so I think we're at the end of our session. So again, if somebody is new here, if you're not able to understand what's going on, I have a full-on lesson of how you can get started and how in 12 weeks you will be able to play 100 plus songs. Okay, you can check out my lessons on musicpundit.com. And we have the courses in English, that means English with English songs, and with Hindi based songs, that is Bollywood songs. So you can check out those courses. It's really well sought out, and you've got a lot of practice routine to master the techniques that you're going to learn. All the techniques are therefore used in the songs. So make sure you check out that course, share with your friends and family, and subscribe to this channel so that you know that we're going to have more and more content coming out, and more live sessions. So thank you, and I'll sign off. My name is Sharon Winston. Okay. You can share it 10 times, Cabbage Lord.